Good morning, everybody. My name is Martyn. I'm a personal coach. I have created becomeunstuck.co.uk. Check the website out. I basically help people with various issues that they want to make changes in their lives. So, for instance, you might want to change your career. You might be looking at personal relationships, whether it be romantic or friendships, and you need to maybe get a dating plan together. I can help you with all of that. But today's blog is going to be about Veganuary. So this month is where people try and go vegan for the month, and what I want to basically go through is a few examples of what you might encounter should you decide to go vegan for January, and I'll give you 5 top tips as well. So firstly, I'll tell you a bit about myself. I went vegan in 2017. It wasn't a conscious decision for myself to go vegan. My partner went vegan effectively. We were going out for Sunday roast every once a month as a little treat, and we've been doing this for about 18 months. She started to have problems with the meals. We'd be going back to pubs where we knew they did a good roast, but she'd still be having a complaint or two, and it was becoming a bit embarrassing. I'd be sitting there completely enjoying my meal, and she'd be saying, look, I'm sorry, this isn't right. And of course, then they'd be saying, would you like to change yours, sir? And I'm saying, no, mine's fine. So eventually we went back home after another complaint. And we sat down, and that's when she said to me that she'd been considering going vegetarian, and now she thinks it's the time. This is why the complaints are coming up. And when we look back, sure enough, the issues that she had was always with the meat. It was never about any of the other items on the plate. So she made the conscious decision then. She was a very determined lady. She decided that she's going to look it up, do the research around vegetarianism, and she said to me, look, while I'm doing this, this is my decision, it's not yours, it's up to you whether you eat meat or not, but at the moment I'm not happy to cook meat for you, so if you wish to have meat, you're going to have to cook for yourself. And she was a brilliant cook, to be fair, and there was a bit of curiosity from my perspective about what I do if I became vegetarian, and actually I ended up eating what she was eating, and very quickly she went for vegetarianism. She'd watched Earthlings, the video, which can be quite traumatic, but she'd gone into some Facebook groups, and vegans had told her that she wanted a bit more information about why veganism was the way forward. This would be a great documentary to watch. So Earthlings is one, but again, prepare yourself. It's not easy watching. And then she also read the China study, which was some nutritional health experts have written this book about how to, get your nutrients, where you get your nutrients from, what the best foods are to eat. And she did that as well. So we very quickly went vegan, and I say we because literally she was cooking and I was lazy. But she did go out one day on a Saturday night, and she told me she was going to go out with some friends and I'd have to cook for myself. And I thought, well, I've been pretty much listening to other people and what they were eating, and I've really missed steak and chips. So I thought, I'm going to cook myself some steak and chips now she's out. And I decided to grill it. So I put the steak on the grill, cooked the chips separately, obviously, and looking forward to it. I was almost drooling. But as I pulled the steak out from the grill, the smell that hit me wasn't of freshly cooked steak. It was the animal. It was like the smell of the animal right next to me in the farmyard, and immediately I felt nauseous, and I realised then that I can't eat this. I can't eat meat. And when I thought about bacon and cheese and everything like that, I just felt nauseous as well. I felt nauseous. So the decision was made for me subconsciously. So maybe I'd already sort of bought into the idea previously. But anyway, from that point onwards, I knew that I was gonna go vegan. But however, as you go through your vegan transitioning, I realised that vegan isn't just about stopping eating meat and dairy. It is about the whole lifestyle. it's a it's a way of life, and therefore some vegans will consider vegans being activists as well. It's the whole hog. So I'm very careful about how I describe myself, because at the moment I'm not into activism. I'm not saying I'm not going to be, or that I will be, but at the moment I'm not doing any activism or protests. I would imagine that I will be doing that at some point, because I do, my decision has been for the animals effectively. I'm consciously aware that there are still billions of animals that are killed each day just purely so we can eat. And anyway, that's for you to research and decide for yourself. So I became vegan, and then my partner and I, we would obviously have recipes that we found from the internet, plus also there's lots of groups. So I would say that if you are thinking about going vegan, there's 5 tips that we basically learned ourselves from others. And the 5 top tips for you would be, the first one would be, do your research. Find out what it is that you can eat as an alternative to what you're used to eating. So find out where your protein's going to come from. So lentils, for example, great source of protein. Proteins, by the way, protein is a plant nutrition and nutritious substance. So meat, if meat's got protein in it, it's because that animal actually ate plants. There's no other reason. Meat wouldn't have protein in it unless the animal ate plants. So protein comes from plants. So if anybody challenges you on that, just say, well, protein actually comes from plants. So that's a big mislead that the industries have been telling us for years. Also, milk, calcium, you can get calcium from other areas other than milk. It's not just milk. So that's another lie that's been told us from past. So do your research, find out what your nutrition, even get a nutritionist, make sure that they're vegan, or at least can cater for vegans, because some nutritionists will say, oh, you need meat in your diet. It's not true. There's one thing that I take as a supplement, which I'm not getting elsewhere. That's only because I haven't done enough research, probably. But I take vitamin B12 spray. Other than that, my whole diet is plant based. So no meat, no dairy, no powdered milk, no nothing, and I'm perfectly healthy. I go running, I do trail running and stuff like that. So number one, do your research, get to know what alternatives are out there for your favourite foods. The sausage rolls and everything, you can have them out. You really rarely miss out. There's ice cream, everything. Tip 2, plan your week ahead. So what am I going to eat Monday? What am I going to eat Tuesday? What am I going to eat Wednesday? Have your whole week as a plan, a meal plan out. This will just save you time and having to think about, what am I going to eat? Because sometimes you might be tempted to just go and get a kebab or something like that, or a pizza that's got meat or dairy in it, and you'll feel bad because you've made a decision, and you want to try and. I wanted to keep up with it. I didn't want to let myself down or anybody else down, and I made sure that I had a plan. So basically, when you go into the supermarket, you know what you're going to be eating for the week. So you'll have your list of ingredients that will be sufficient for that week ahead. So I only go into the supermarket once a week, and I know what I'm having. Tip 3. Now, tip 3 is pretty much be prepared for what you're going to be saying to your friends, because people don't react the way you hope or expect them to. For example,
my friends friends at work would you know, take the mickey out of me when I told them that I was vegan, you know, and that's fine, you know, banter is good, but some people got quite defensive, they get quite aggressive, and I took it that they might be maybe feeling a bit guilty because maybe they've been considering it, but they didn't want to make the transition, or they might just, I might be pressing on some beliefs that they've had, which go totally against what they believed for their entire lives. So we've all been conditioned effectively to think that we need meat and dairy. So some people aren't going to take to it as easily or as lightly as others. So be prepared for those awkward conversations or even aggressive, angry confrontations from people, because some people will surprise you. You've made a decision. You don't need anyone else to understand what you're doing. You're only planning to do it for the month of January anyway. See if you can make the transition, and what other people do in their lives is completely up to them. So, but I'm just saying, prepare yourself. Some people are going to say, where are you going to get your protein from? You know, I couldn't give up cheese and eggs, and I couldn't give up bacon. You know, you're not telling them to. You're not asking them to. You're the one that's made the decision, and you're the one who's taking the action. So, but those are the reactions that I got. So just be mindful of that. Now, tip 4, effectively, would be to get some support around this, because basically, when you're transitioning like this, it is a massive change. You will need some guidance, you'll need some help and tips from others. You know, there's so many Facebook groups out there. There's local ones like Surrey and Hampshire Vegans is one. You got UK Vegan. Lots of people go on there and they would literally say, I've gone vegan, I've decided to do this, I'm the third day in, I want to know where I can get some protein, what can I take the place of a roast, if anybody got any ideas other than a nut roast. All of these questions you can put on these groups, and there will be people there, I promise you, that will help you, because although we are a growing community, we are still very much a minority, but we're all in this together. There's a very strong bond there between vegans. You will have a few people that will sit there and maybe be a bit judgy on you, but mostly people will sit there and say, look, we're glad you've decided to join us. It is, go easy on yourself. If you want some support, this is a great resource. Put yourself out there. Don't be afraid to say, I need help, and you will get it. But equally, there may be some people out there that have other issues other than veganism, and you just need to sort of, take what you like and leave the rest. That's what I usually say. So that would be my 4th tip. And the 5th tip would always be mindful that you're making a big change and you're not perfect. The transitioning, the whole process is not perfect, and therefore occasionally you may make mistakes. When I first went vegan, I was checking all the products, all the ingredients to see, because the milk powder comes in the most strangest of food. So if you see milk powder in there, it's not a vegan product. And what we're trying to do is make sure that we get as much knowledge and experience into this January as possible, but you may slip up a bit. Don't beat yourself up if you do. If you find that you've just eaten something that might have powdered egg or powdered milk, and you had every intention of going vegan, for the whole month, and it hasn't happened, don't worry. What this is it's a test to see whether you can survive the whole month without dying of lack of protein. And basically what you'll find, hopefully, is that you've done it easily, or at least easier than you thought. It's something that you could do again, and hopefully you'll decide to stay vegan, because it will help the planet. It will help all those poor suffering animals that don't get a choice, and when they live and die, they get told that you're going to slaughter today. And of course, because we've been away, we've been sort of hid effectively from all of the stuff that goes on when in abattoirs and stuff like that. All the animals tend to be transported at times when we're not out there, so we don't have to suffer watching those great big horrible lorries go past with all the little slats and see the animals looking out like that. We've been avoided that trauma effectively of seeing our food go off into the slaughterhouses, abattoirs. And you're doing this for a good reason. You're doing this for yourself, and practice makes perfect, but you will never be perfect. So go easy on yourself. Don't beat yourself up. If you don't do this, it can take time, and this is you're reprogramming yourself. It's not a flick of a switch. So I hope this has been useful. Anybody who wishes to have more support, I offer a coaching structure, very reasonable rates and very affordable rates, and I can help you through this process. I can give you a plan, and also likely, with anything else that you might be looking at changing in your career, or maybe you want some more healthy, loving relationships in your life, come and ask me. Send me an email, Martyn, Martyn at becomeunstuck.co.uk. Or go over to my website, becomeunstuck.co.uk. You'll find all my contact details there and more information. Anyway, thanks for listening to me. Have a great month. Good luck.